Hello, I'm Lee Remick, and this is Trailers from Hell. Many, many years ago, when I was still working in Cincinnati, I had helped my boss produce the surprise indie hit Harper Valley PTA. Feeling a bit more ambitious, he sent out feelers for bigger projects. Most were pretty worthless. But one day arrived a script called S.O.B, written by Blake Edwards. I couldn't believe it, a Blake Edwards script that hadn't been filmed yet. After he read it, he gave it to me. I devoured it and was thrilled, delighted, and even shocked by every single page. I was even mentally casting it, though it was obvious his wife would be the star. When I finished it, he asked me what I thought. After I finished gushing, I told him, "There's no way you should make this picture." He said he had no intention of doing so, but wanted to know why I thought so. I said 2 reasons. 1, this is going to be way more expensive than you can handle. And 2, you only want to make family films, and this is definitely going to be an R. And he replied, right on both counts. And so my dreams of visiting a Blake Edwards set were dashed, but I knew it was the right decision. 2 years later, the movie came out. I went with keen anticipation and was enraptured all over again. In fact, I still think it's his masterpiece. Remarkably, it seemed like he shot that script with no significant changes, and the casting of William Holden in the central male role was an obvious callback to Sunset Boulevard. And even 40 years later, with the studio system just a distant memory, it still resonates big time. So let's take a look at the movie Julie Andrews, even a decade earlier, had called Mary Poppins Shows Her Boobs.
Blake Edwards, the man who gave the world the Pink Panther.
Given the all-star cast, it's interesting that they led with Edwards.
Knows everything there is to know about Hollywood.
All right, quiet now on a bell.
That's why he wants to destroy it.
Hey, nice little hat tip to Mad Mad World there.
Possible. Lorimar.
Much of the film is a combination of Hollywood lore and Edwards' own experiences, especially the bad ones. A lot of it calling back to Darling Lily, which was infamously loused up by then Paramount head Robert Evans.
Okay. See you on the beach, huh? Sure.
But most of all,
Richard Mulligan, here standing in for Edwards, was primarily a sitcom star, but this is the feature film role of his career right here. Wicked satire and violent slapstick isn't an easy blend, but Edwards really nails it.
Nude? Why not?
starring Julie Andrews.
And here's an interesting touch, presenting not only the stars, but also the characters they play, some of them based fairly thinly on actual people, with Andrews obviously playing herself.
Nothing like a uniform to keep an orgy organized. I have to be shooting by September 1.
Richard Mulligan as the producer.
I must warn you, my hands are lethal weapons.
Larry Hagman as the studio exec.
It could be your one chance to recoup all the costs.
Vaughn is, of course, Evans, and clearly gets the worst of it, as you can see here.
We're going to get it before the stockholders meeting.
Shelley Winters is nobody else but Sue Mengers.
Dope and end up going steady with your Afghan. You're just one of the gang. But you're Peter Pan.
And Loretta Swit is clearly Rona Barrett.
I hear that Felix tried to commit suicide.
You heard the Felix? Ridiculous!
Robert Webber as the press agent.
Look, we gotta sit down, get our story straight. Let me handle it.
Robert Preston.
Preston has many of the best lines. He pretty much steals the show. And it led to Edwards using him again the following year in Victor Victoria, which earned him his only Oscar nomination, believe it or not. Throw in that swingin' Mancini score, and you've got a Hollywood caricature for the ages. I'm so glad my boss didn't make it, because it wouldn't have turned out nearly as well. But boy, I still wish I could have visited the set.
I'll fix it so you never do another picture in this town as long as you live.
S.O.B.